Ho ho ho, Precision Junkies. This is gonna be our last video before Christmas. And I'm kind of just gonna do what I call, we did a random thoughts video last summer, and basically I was just shooting, kind of just talking about what was going through my mind. This is gonna be a little more outlined. I had a lot of questions on my target setup about the difference between the 70V and the 80% mods on this TRX 36 and which ones I preferred. I've been playing around with them a little bit, and I think I'm gonna stick with the 80s. I'm still not 100% on that, but in this video I'm gonna kind of go over why I think that. You're gonna watch me shoot the bow a little bit and kind of get an idea of how that bow looks and reacts at full draw and during the shot, and kind of just go over some stuff that I'm working on. I'm really bad with practicing consistently, but I've been practicing a lot for the last week and a half or so. I've shot pretty much every day, at least 60 to 100 arrows a day. So I'm starting to get to the point where I'm actually feeling good and can tell the little differences from shot to shot. I'm holding well enough that the pin is in the middle, and when I'm missing, it's usually because of something I'm doing on the back half or the follow through. Now that's not to say that every shot is holding perfectly, but a lot of times when you first start shooting, I don't even shoot a target. I'll just blank bail for the first couple hundred arrows and try and get that muscle memory back, try and get that hold back a little bit before I jump into a target. So I'm kind of to the point now where I'm shooting targets a little bit more, and I thought it'd just be a cool video today. So I'm gonna go get my target hung, get my quiver on, and yeah, we're gonna shoot a few arrows together. So stay tuned. Oh yeah. All right, so right now I have the 80% mods on, and I played around with the 70Vs for really like a couple days. And so here's my theory on this, is that the 70Vs, because obviously they have a little less let off, I can be more aggressive in the shot. So really, depending on your shooting style, I think is gonna kind of determine which one's gonna feel better for you. Now, with my Halon X, I had a really aggressive shot on that. I really did keep building that pressure, more or less pulling through the shot, and just keeping soft fingers till it went off. This mod system and cam system is so rock solid in the back wall. It almost feels like limb stops. It's not quite as hard as limb stops, but it's definitely harder than on my Halon X. And what I noticed was with the 80-pound limbs, if I tried to be really, or 80-pound mods on, excuse me, 80% mods on there, if I tried to really be aggressive and continue to pull through that shot aggressively, I kind of just pulled my front arm around a little bit. And so what I started doing was I maintained that pressure. So I'm still coming in, loading the back, push, pull into that back wall, but rather than really, pulling through that and being aggressive with it, I pretty much just maintain that back pressure, and then I just start to relax my hand, and I just shoot a really relaxed shot. And as my hand kind of extends, and this is an exaggerated motion, but as my hand starts to relax and that release starts to roll, my elbow, because I have that tension there, just kind of picks up the slack and the shot fires. So I'm not having to pull as hard and get as tired and muscle that bow in there like I am with the 70Vs or my Halon X. Now, if you like shooting that really aggressive style shot, which can work really, really well, there's a lot of really aggressive shooters out there, and I think it's a good way to be. You don't want to sit there and aim all day. But if you shoot that aggressive shot, that 70V allows you to feel like you're pulling a little harder into it, because it's wanting to resist you a little bit more. Some people may have the opposite experience with that. They think they can be more aggressive with the 80s versus 70Vs. This is just my experience. So, like I said, I've got the 80s on here right now. I'm gonna kind of shoot a few arrows. I'm gonna start off just blank bailing and just kind of go through, what I'm working on, form stuff, and kind of the feedback I'm getting from the bow. So I'm gonna go get my target set up here, and we'll sling some slivers. So these are the new Super Drive 27s that I'm shooting. I've always shot the X27s, which are the aluminums, and they've always been great. The only downside to them is that you know, they're so stiff, you gotta shoot like a 300 grain point, cut them at like 30.5 inches. And they get well over 700 grains. And with a bow at only 60 pounds, you know, it gets off the bow so slowly. I feel that with the carbon arrow, you know, this weighs probably 250 grains less than that. And maybe even more than that, maybe 300 grains less. And they get off the bow so much faster that I get a little more forgiveness out of them. The other thing I've been messing with, I haven't actually changed the weights from the same setup I had on the Halon X, but I have been playing with the position of this back bar. On my X, it was a little further out, and it was also further down. I think I still need to play around with that a little bit. Like I said, I hadn't been shooting a whole lot. I've only been practicing a lot for about a week, so I'm finally starting to feel a little stronger. And you know, now I'm able to tell if it's just me shaking or if, you know, I feel like I'm holding pretty well, but I'm just getting, you know, kind of a weird bobble out of the pin. Shot felt good. It's strange after shooting that Halon X for so long, which I shot 75% mods on it. I was really aggressive with it, and it's like, I have to really be conscious about it right now, or my body just goes into autopilot. And then it's not that my pin is bouncing all around, but it's not a calm hold. It's kind of like jittery, like it's not moving out of the middle so much, but it doesn't feel relaxed. I still need to pull through the shot, but I don't think I need to pull as hard with this bow. So getting used to that's a little different. Everything's hitting a little bit low. And just so you guys I know I'm gonna get questioned on this little fuzzy thing in my string, that's just the separator that they use to separate the string when you get the bow out of the box. I only have that in because the first few hundred shots out of this bow, that peep rotates, and I can actually alter the rotation of that peep by moving that little piece up and down to my string. So that's what that is, if you're wondering. Hard to see white veins on a white target. They're all just about 7 o'clock X's is what they look like. Yep, all a little low. And yes, I'm still shooting my black hole. This thing is like from like 2010. That one actually hit good, but you can see my arm went tunk. No bueno. You want that, if it's a good surprise shot and you got even push-pull, like I was probably pulling a little harder than I was pushing on that one, than my brace. If it's even, it should just pretty much straight forward and then off, you know, down to the side a little. So that's a good lesson of, just because you hit the middle doesn't necessarily mean it was a good shot. At 20 yards, I can make a really dumb shot, and with these fat arrows and a forgiving bow, and with it being only 20 yards, you can get away with murder. So, you know, don't get sloppy on indoor. It can be easy to do because it seems so close. Can't see where that one hit. Looks like about, yeah, it's a little low. A little low right. I am getting a little bit of a vertical bounce. It's like it goes between probably like the middle of the X and then to where the bottom of my dot is just lining up with like the bottom of the spot, so that, you know, the edges kind of match up, and it just kind of wants to bob right there. Generally that means either more weight on the back, but I feel like it's already a little back heavy, so I might actually try more weight on the front here in a little bit. Good. So that one went quick. That, ideally a shot like that is what I want. I mean, once my bow settles, I want it to get on there. And I have a really bad habit of taking too long to get to my target. And so I'm trying to work on that. There we go, those are better. All right, let's go check those out. All right, forgive the shakiness. I'm walking with a giant tripod here. So, coming up to the target here. So yeah, about what I expected. Definitely not bad. That's the one that just felt like, you know, I was kind of bobbing on it a little bit. All the others, you know, these last two felt really good. That was the first one. That's just pure luck. That shot did not feel good. I felt like I dropped my arm on that. But yeah, not too shabby. Like I said, still kind of playing around with just the overall feel of the bow. I'm still not totally sure that I have the draw length exactly where I want it. I might put another twist into that string, or a couple twists out of my bus cables, try and get that draw length just a smidge shorter maybe. It's kind of weird, like when you haven't shot for a while and you pick it back up again, your bow feels really heavy, and it usually feels like the draw length is too long. And so I always make the mistake of being like, oh, my draw length's too long, and I shorten it all back up. And then after a week and a half of shooting, or 2 weeks of shooting, I feel scrunched up again. I feel like I can't get that, you know, that front shoulder down and out where I want it, and I end up lengthening it back out. So I think I'm gonna give it another week or maybe 5 days or so before I decide to actually switch it back up again. But for the time being, I'm just gonna focus on, you know, more on my execution and not worry so much about where they're hitting until I really start fine tuning everything. So let's shoot a few more of these things. And sometimes I'll just throw, when I'm practicing, I'll throw a blank bail round in there in the middle of it just to kind of get those mechanics down, kind of get my body in the flow, so to speak. That shot felt really good. I think it's right on the spider. Left right was good on that one. I think I'm maybe just barely catching top X though. I felt like I kind of threw the bow arm on that one, or maybe I was just pushing a little harder than I was pulling. All this stuff about alignment and the push pull and all that, I cover that in great detail in the Precision Academy, which is coming up. You know, we're final stages of editing right now. Should have some more info for you here pretty soon. Yeah, we go over a lot on alignment and shot execution, and you know, how to get that good aim and a good hold. Also, there's kind of a running joke in archery that if you want to screw somebody up and mess with them, ask what their breathing routine is, because you never really think about it. But I have noticed sometimes I will, by the time I get my pin on the target, I have that kind of weak, jittery feeling. And so what I've been trying to work on is, you need oxygen in your bloodstream to stay strong. So when I'm drawing, I'm trying to just get in the habit of taking a really big inhale as I draw. Then as I settle in, just kind of letting it about halfway out. I personally, I don't know if I can breathe during the shot. I've never actually tried. I'm not sure if anybody does. Let me know if you do. Sounds like a good idea. I know snipers do it. But yeah, trying to keep oxygen in your bloodstream. Arrow kicked really funny. It looked like it was about 5 inches left. All right. So I don't have two cameras here, so I'm gonna go set the camera up on the target and shoot around and just, I don't know, kind of get some other footage. So let's head down there. So my misses tend to be low right, and a lot of time that's on my follow through. So like you can see here again, that I think is the same target as last time actually. No, last time it was the middle. But again, my low right miss. So that's getting weak on the front half. I'm pulling harder than I'm pushing, and I'm getting lazy. So I need to clean that up a little bit. That was the one where I felt like I was actually the opposite. Like I might have pushed a little harder. Not sure, it just felt different on the follow through. The other three, they felt really good. So anyway, I'm gonna set the camera up on the target here and just shoot a little bit, and yeah, maybe get some cool footage for you. Dumb. Man, 5X has never seemed so hard. That was horrible. So that's a great definition. That's a great one to let down on. I knew the shot wasn't gonna be good. As soon as you think you should let down, let down. Gross. Oh my gosh. Okay, so still, these right misses are killing me. So I definitely have a lot of work to do. Like I said, I'm working at it. I mean, that caught, but it's ugly. That's just out. So 3 rounds without a 5X is pretty pathetic, honestly. But the good shots are feeling good. When I'm throwing them right like that, it's because I'm either anticipating the shot a little bit and I'm starting that follow through, or generally, I'm worried about not pushing hard enough like I was on some of those, and I push too hard and that throws my bow arm on follow through, even if it's a good release. So you can kind of, when you shoot for a long time and you start being able to hold well, you can kind of identify what you're doing by where your misses are. So, I covered that in some other videos. But anyway, thought I'd just kind of give you guys a look at what I was doing tonight, just kind of playing around. I'm kind of on the tail end of my shooting session here, so I sound like I'm making excuses. Those rounds weren't the best, but you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here. This is what I was working on, and thought I'd share it with you guys. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Really appreciate it. As usual, feel free to comment below. And yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. This is the Friday before Christmas, so our next video will launch after Christmas, right around New Year's. So anyway, hope you guys have an awesome Christmas, happy holidays, all that good stuff, happy Hanukkah, whatever you want to celebrate. I hope you have a good one. And remember, precision is a decision, and I'll see you on the range.